Hi there, welcome and thank you for being here today. I hope you're having a beautiful day or night. We're gonna dive on in, get a little bit of clarity and see what's going on overall with the energy. I did do a pre-pull from the archetypes and the siren came out. So I brought out the Mermaid Tarot. Let's dive in, get a little clarity because the energy of this is diving deep to gain psychic insight that helps you gain stability on the surface. But it's also a deep longing, yearning. The call of the siren, maybe you do something with music or it's about music right now. So let's get a little clarity. We're going to go to the book later and get the specific message for this. This reading is timeless. Whenever it finds you, it's the right time. See what resonates, leave what doesn't. Always follow and trust that divine inner guidance in you. And try to make balanced decisions between logic and intuition so your decisions are sound and based in love and for the highest greatest good of everyone. So we are all uplifted in love. We're going to start today with the divine truth because it feels like there's this deep yearning in your heart. It's definitely a little sassy energy, seduction, temptation, the femme fatale. So let's see what's going on here today. We're going to start with the divine truth. Let's see what God, Source, Holy Spirit, Christ consciousness, our higher selves, angels, and energies of love have for the highest and greatest good of all. What would be helpful to know today? Well, that would be diving deep to gain psychic insight. So your third eye opening up, your higher self talking to you, feeling energies and the vibrations in the ether, gaining insight on a certain person or a certain situation. I also feel like some of you are connecting to somebody who is starting to trust their intuition a little more. Also, it did come out as sassy energy. That's pretty, this is like one of the sassiest cards in this deck. Even the colors match, maybe hot pink and purple. The third eye. So there's somebody who's seen something in a different way from the inner vision and they can't unsee it. And I do feel like you were the catalyst or you were the inspiration or you were the spark or even the support for someone to trust the energies they might feel but maybe don't see with their actual physical eyes. There's something more real about the energy they feel than maybe what's tangible and in front of them. And I do feel like this is somehow a turnaround or a twist, an uplift, definitely a gift. Somebody's tapping into their gifts more. I feel like you are really in tune with your higher self. And I do feel like you're connecting to somebody who is also in tune, naturally psychic and intuitive, but didn't have a grasp or as much faith on those energies as you kind of did naturally. Even, perhaps developed over different spiritual elevations you've had in your life. But I feel like you always had a natural knack for it. My third eye can never forget what my heart has seen. So not only is their third eye opening up, there are now eyes in their heart. They're seeing from their heart space. They're opening up anything that may have been built up or walls have just crumbled down. And somebody is recognizing that they feel true love for you. So this is not just surface level. It's definitely a love that feels like it dives deep into their soul for you. So what else? Let's get another one. Clarity on third eye. What's another message? Please and thank you. I'm doing my best to hold this whole deck of cards at once. Tell us a little more about the energy of the person I'm connecting to. Now this could be you or this could be somebody you were thinking about. This could also be somebody coming into your life pretty soon and giving you a little extra peekaroo on what is to come. Well, I feel like this is what somebody was avoiding before. I feel like somebody was avoiding that deep intuition that they had, telling themselves, no, that's just a coincidence, or no, that's not what I see tangibly in front of my face. If somebody is an avoidant, it could be a runner. It could also be somebody who's avoiding pain. You know, if they had painful circumstances in childhood or past relationships, they don't want to feel that again because that shit hurts. So there could be somebody that recognized they were drawn to you from their soul, but then their logical side kind of stepped on in, or their ego came through, because ego is there to protect. It is there to help us be prevented from feeling pain again and going through circumstances. But sometimes when ego is not connected to the higher self, it can kind of overpower the higher self's deep wisdom and get in the way of blessings, or get in the way of even lessons, get in the way of experiences. It's like the ego wants to dig in the boots. It's like, I don't know, that could be painful. You remember all the pain you felt, so let's just box everyone that might have this kind of love into one category and not go there at all. And there's something about you not being in that box. There's something about you, you know, coloring outside the lines or offering a different kind of love that is deep. But if somebody only had skimmed the surface on what love could be, or only had experiences where as soon as they got vulnerable and felt those ripples of emotions on their beautiful mermaid tail, that something kind of wiggled away out of their life and they felt that loss, that hurt, that strain, that stress. And someone feels like if they just wiggle away before they quite get there, then they are safe. And I feel like I'm getting kind of like that mermaid, or even a Pisces kind of energy, where there's no shell on that water energy, that emotion. So when there's no shell, all of those little ripples, no matter how far away they are, and I feel like those ripples are your energy or your love coming in. And even if they try to swim away, it kind of trickles in and they can still feel it. They still feel that there's something different with you, but they're trying to build a shell on, you know, their skin or around their heart or around their third eye as protection. So I feel like somebody is going to come out of their shell, but this is a life lesson that's not an immediate immediate healing. Sometimes this takes a little while. An avoidant, I really want to be close to you, but I avoid emotional attachments out of fear. So it's somebody that's scared. I feel like you have proven and shown that they shouldn't be scared around you. I feel like even if there have been moments around this person where you had some arguments, or, you know, one saw the usual world and you were looking through those beautiful spiritual rose-colored glasses, that even if you saw something in a different way, or you had a little tiff, you know, a mismatch of how you perceived something, I feel like it was resolved faster, or your intention was to resolve it faster. Maybe this person is somebody who always was around people that they felt like they had to walk on eggshells around, or always had a weird reaction, or maybe not even given unconditional love or ever experienced it. So if no one's ever experienced that, there's definitely something going on in the throat chakra. Did you hear that? Then they don't have any experience to compare what love you have to offer to. So is that real? Is that a fantasy? You know, are you going to turn around like everyone else did and end up hurting them in the end? Better to just be alone. Better to just stay with, even I'm getting with this avoidant energy, there could be somebody that you are connected to and they are possibly in a partnership, but it's still an avoidant partnership. There's not a deep emotional connection or psychic connection or soul connection, because that slight disconnect, you know, or like kind of, not that it's a surface relationship. It might be a soulmate relationship. It might have love, but I feel like it's a different kind of love than what they are feeling with you here. Because they're feeling like what they feel with you is true. So I feel like they're comparing it to either what they're in or what they knew, and seeing how they always kept themselves a little bit at a distance, even when they were in a committed relationship, because even if that didn't work out, they weren't completely, wholeheartedly, soulfully invested, and they knew if it ended, that's kind of what I feel. And it just, it feels kind of sad, actually. So let's get another one. Tell us another message on avoidant. I do feel like maybe some of you, if you were hurt by a certain person, maybe you are also avoiding, because I got that throat chakra thing. Maybe you're avoiding going back into a same old cycle. If that cycle was like a fish chasing its tail and it was going around and around, maybe you had growth, or you really wanted growth, but maybe that growth, if it had to do with growth between and with you and another individual, and if it didn't happen together, it could have been that you had to accept to grow apart or to swim in a different direction. But I feel like that's because you chose to not chase after somebody that was trying to wiggle away. I hope that made sense. So I don't feel like if you're avoiding someone right now, it's out of spite, or it's out of like revenge or getting back, or you're going to just avoid them. That's the way to get attention. I feel like you kind of just let it go. You're like, okay, I mean, I feel like the kind of love you have to offer, you don't want somebody to feel forced to stay with you. You want to be with somebody who wants to swim with you, you know? Wants to dive in with you. I see that like a fish, like a mermaid breaching the surface. I totally just thought of what is Madison? Maybe Madison, the Mermaid movie, Splash. Maybe there's something like, I just pictured her putting the Epsom salt in the bath. So maybe there is something about a cleansing energy, or maybe something had to show its truth. You know, there's something about where she wanted to hide who she was in the beginning. I mean, I'm going back to what, 1983, 84. There's something about where in the beginning she didn't want him to know she was a mermaid, but she fell in love with Tom Hanks as a little boy that she rescued in the ocean. And, you know, as soon as he found out who she was or what she was, he did freak out a little bit, but then he was the one that protected her, supported her, would do anything to make sure that she was taken care of. So there's something about if somebody was afraid to reveal their truth and they're scared of that initial shock that may have happened when they opened up and were truly vulnerable with someone from the past, there's something about it not really being such a shock and actually ending up to be the best support you've ever had if you or whoever this is does allow themselves to be completely authentic and vulnerable. Let's get one more. Evil eye. It's interesting because even what I just said in that movie is how everybody sort of came after her. That's kind of what I'm getting as an energy reference. You know, they saw this siren, this mermaid. Now they got to hook her up to all these things and do experiments and put her in a tank and contain her and, you know, not allow her to be free because these energies were not, you know, wanting her freedom. Or, you know, they were just wanting to poke and prod her like an experiment. So I feel like if you have this beautiful energy around you, you are completely protected. If you have this beautiful light that just shines, that can irritate some people that don't quite understand that light. Or if their energy is jelly or negative, they don't quite understand what that light is all about. So they're hoping to dim your light, and that might make them feel better. I feel like I'm not even going to give this a lot of attention today, because that evil eye energy, it's that deep knowing and deep connection to God and source, your angels, the archangels, you know, energies of love, that you are protected. So if somebody wants to shine their shade, let them figure out their own karmic lesson on their own. It's just a reflection of what they are going through. And maybe somebody's going through hurt. Maybe somebody went through heartbreak, so they're looking out at somebody else's situation and just having that desire or that energy that that's what they want. And that's their ego seeping in. And if anyone's trying to manipulate energies, that's that hold on something to, you know, try to make something happen. And it's not that allowance energy for the highest and greatest good of all. You know, what is meant for you is meant for you. It won't pass you by. So you just have to be in the vibration to absolutely know without a doubt that you're protected. And anyone that's in the dark has their own path to figure out how to get out, how to turn on their own inner light, how to focus on themselves and their own truth and follow their divine guidance, because true divine guidance doesn't always come in how you want. It comes in how it should, in the highest light and form possible for everyone to come through, so we learn lessons, not get stuck and swallowed by them. So all eyes are on you. I mean, if you're like this sassy little mermaid over here walking on earth, you're going to stand out. And, you know, if you're standing out to others, some are going to love you, some are going to be weird. The weird ones are going to just be weird, and the ones that are in high vibrations are going to embrace you. So pay attention to the ones that embrace you and love you. And if you feel like you are just misunderstood, just own your light, man. Own it. Own it. Be you. You're still going to connect to the right people that will feel your truth, feel your authenticity, feel your love. So sometimes people are envious. If somebody's envious of your light, that means your light's shining pretty freaking amazing. Beautiful. So let's get another one. I also feel like anything like that, it's almost like the best thing you can do is send them back a prayer of love, that they find, you know, they find their own truth, that they find their strength, that they figure out how to get out of a karmic cycle, that they learn to tap into their own true higher self and not selfish desires and lower vibes and intentions. And just put that love out there, put that prayer out there, shine your light to help heal somebody that is having a little trouble healing themselves or getting through a cycle quicker than they could. It's like you're transmuting that energy. Clarify, avoidant, third eye, evil eye, solitude. And if that's the thing, guys, if you feel like you're not really connecting with others right now, connect with yourself. But I kind of feel like there's somebody around you. We're going to go back a little bit. I kind of feel like there's somebody around you using that third eye here, starting to recognize the difference in your energy and your love and your even perception upon everything. Even the lessons you've gone through, they've seen you fall and hurt, but maybe get up again. Because I feel like this is somebody that if they haven't known you a long time, you've at least shared some of your journey, your experiences with them. Because I do feel like there's been a vulnerability that you have offered to this person, whether they've given that back or not. And I feel like that intuition that this person is now really getting and receiving and hearing. They're starting to notice when they walk in a room or they're around a certain person, and that vibe, that light doesn't feel the same as it did with you. I'm going to show you this, and I'm going to attend my little doggy making noise. I'll be right back. And it looks like with this opening of their intuition, listening to their higher self, they are no longer avoiding the vibes that they feel, no matter what those vibes are, high or low, weird or beautiful. So I do feel like this is something that somebody you are connecting to had to figure out on their own. There's something about them getting to do it without even getting to discuss it with you. So maybe some of you have little contact or no contact, or there's been a little bit of a separation, some distance, whether that's physical distance, emotional distance, distance in communication. But there's something really important about the lesson that somebody had to learn on their own. Also, maybe there's something that you had to do on your own in this silence and solitude. Sometimes we are supposed to grow together, and sometimes we're supposed to learn something independently through strength. So through this silence or through this solitude, somebody has been gifted clarity and insight that they needed to actually set their soul free. That's really big. If somebody felt like their soul was contained or trapped or smothered or fenced in, it's like you offered them the key, but they had to put it in the lock themselves. They had to walk out of the gate. They had to open the cage door and see what it's like to feel their wings and then experience that liftoff, that flight, that freedom. There's something about you inspiring somebody in the beginning, but not necessarily holding their hand on that process of transformation. So let's get one more. Let's ask about the transformation. There's also somebody blossoming here. There's a beautiful energy. She's giving me like Audrey Hepburn vibes. There's something about Grace. I just thought of Grace Kelly. I keep hearing the word classic, and I don't know why. But then I look at this, and I get a little rebel energy. So let's continue. What is one more on this particular connection the collective is thinking about, or somebody coming in? What is a little extra peek at what was going on in the silence, or what has happened because of it, growth that has occurred, that in this silence, even if you haven't spoken to somebody, they haven't stopped thinking about you. I feel like that has to do with almost like you've almost been a muse, you know, a teacher, but not really a teacher. I think you were a friend. I think you were a lover. I think you were, you know, a different kind of connection. But somebody is thinking about you all of the time. I mean, we got the siren here, and it's all about desire and yearning. So there's something about where now somebody's thoughts are connecting to their feels. There isn't a day that goes by. Days go by and still I think of you. Days when I couldn't live my life without you. I think I need to grab my pup again. And they know you're the one for them. Be right back. All right, we're going to move to the Mermaid Tarot. I haven't used this in a little while. It's a really beautiful deck. I do get slightly unusual messages from it. So let's ask what would be helpful to know about the current energy and situation and advice for moving forward. I just heard onward and upward. I don't know why I just saw like a beach umbrella, and then I saw a hot air balloon, a seagull, an ice cream cone. Maybe you're doing something by the beach. Maybe it's about the cherry on top. Maybe it's, we're gonna keep going. That's that dog that goes by every single day and barks out of the car window, and then Rose goes up to the window and starts barking for like 2 minutes. So hopefully I caught that fast. This is one of those readings where there's a lot of interruptions. Maybe you feel like there's been a lot of interruptions in the flow of this particular connection. Maybe you've gotten like back on the saddle, or, you know, continued something for a while. Maybe you felt like this last time was a bigger pause than usual. I feel like there is a reason for that. There's also bigger growth than usual. So let's continue. What would be helpful to know on the current situation and advice for the collective moving forward? Wow, you're moving towards the 10 of Cups. That's what you have to focus your energy on. That's what you have to imagine. And it's that energy of that happily ever after. Maybe that was a little ding for you. It's not necessarily, you know, constructing it in a little box that has to be this certain way. It's happily ever after, ... to be continued. Next chapter to come. That happily ever after happiness energy is being around the people right now, and choosing to be around the people in your future that you groove with, that bring happiness. It's like that. I actually brought that. It's like the art of life. It said, you know, smile for those that are the charming gardeners, for that is what makes our soul blossom. What did that one card say? The silence between us is giving me insight needed to set my soul free. This is a beautiful fairy tale dream come true, merged with the reality that not every day is a fairy tale, and there's something even more beautiful about that energy than getting lost in the fairy tale. If it's upside down, it could be what somebody imagined their beautiful happily ever after to be was, but never attained it, or it wasn't exactly, you know, the components that they put in there, but forgot about that energy is still, completely possible, but maybe in a different form, maybe with a different person, maybe in a different environment, maybe in a different new you as you grow in a new chapter, a new part of your life. So sometimes it is allowing one dream to dissolve, but guess what happens then? You get to imagine and embody and live a new one. But you have to keep that happiness frequency energy. It's feeling completely abundant in your heart here. So if you have this connection, or you have this beautiful, deep love that's so multifaceted and multidimensional, it's fueled by unconditional love, which is wishing whoever you're thinking about, you know, their dreams come true. It's wishing whoever might have a shady energy here, their happiness and their dreams coming true. And it's recognizing you need to put the energy into being in the now and forming all of these dreams that are coming true, and be in gratitude that they are. So 10 of Cups is really nice. You're also at like a market here. Maybe you do something with a market. I don't know why I looked at that and I thought of Mussels. Maybe somebody has, you know, they're working out or getting in shape. I just thought of, I think it's Squeeze, pulling mussels from the shell. Pulling mussels from the shell. Pulling mussels. That song. It's a random ass song. it looks like you're here like mingling with like a soul family, or you're meeting new people, or you're always open that maybe somebody randomly that you meet at the fish market, the mermaid market, might become a new bestie, you know, part of your soul tribe. Maybe it's just a moment with a stranger that you shine a little love and happiness in their life by acts of kindness. And that is a ripple effect, a butterfly effect that they pass along to somebody else, and that passes along to somebody else. You know, instead of passing along hurt to create more hurt. It's like the opposite, and it's just so much stronger. Let's get a little clarity, because I feel like that Ten of Cups energy has to be the energy you have gratitude towards today, whether you feel that's coming in or not, or you're actually in that kind of chapter or not. You could be in a really weird chapter right now. Maybe you're really hurting in solitude over here from separation from somebody that you love. Maybe you foresaw all these beautiful things that could happen, or how this person had so much potential or could grow. And then maybe, you know, you felt like some of those dreams were dissolved, or that something's happening in that silence behind a closed door you can't see, and that could be driving you even more cray-cray than seeing something. You just have to be in that energy of faith. And if you don't know what to do, send a prayer, send love, and always remember to bring that love back to yourself. Clarity on the Ten of Cups, please and thank you. Yeah. Wow. So there, you have the Two of Pentacles, the Nine of Cups, the Ten of Cups. So not only are you going towards this happily ever after energy, this abundance of love in your life, it's also multiple wishes coming true with the Nine of Cups. It's really like your heart's desire is right there. And then you get another wish. And then you get to savor that wish. And then you wake up and you're living a new wish. And you're filling up your heart again and again and again. It's that genie in a bottle. It's the smorgasbord. It's the open bar. It's all there. You know, there's no limit. So don't put a limit on how big your wishes can grow and become and change and develop. And if you have everything right in front of you, it's not being in that energy of gluttony, which is upside down. It's like trying to hoard it all in, shove it all in your mouth, eat 25 chocolate cakes because, you know, maybe somebody else will take it away. That's lack mentality. That's believing that something's going to be taken away. What is meant for you won't be taken away. This is something coming into your life where it is there when you wake up in the morning. I feel like there's something about really being in your own energy, in your own happiness, being there for yourself. And I do feel like some of you are attracting the right person that chooses and wants to be there for you. Whether you come home from the gym stinking, or you had a weird day and you're like cursing at people on the highway and somebody cut you off and blah, 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 blah. It's like you have an energy coming in where I feel like it's a soothing. There's something that will always get back into balance. You have to remember that part of this is having a little fun. If you have to balance something with your toe one day and your ear another day, then that's how you have to do it. But there has to be adjustment somewhere. Also, for some of you, if you are only looking at the happiness of you being in love and not looking at the happiness of maybe projects you can work on, checking off things on your bucket list, you know, experiences you've always wanted to try, always wanted to maybe, you know, give it a go or be full in, then there's an imbalance. You have to see where you're focusing your energy, where you're putting your tangible time and effort into, and if it feels like it's balanced in different arenas of your life. Sometimes it's also different people, because Pentacles is people, places, things. You know, it's things you can touch. So if you have let's just say you have 2 people in your life you love spending time with, but you put one on the back burner. How can you, you know, spend time with that other person you haven't seen in a while? If there's a project you are loving and you're working on and you're really into it, maybe there's a moment where you can just put it down, let it go out and have a little fun. How can you balance something out? Because too much attention on one person or one area or one thing in your life is going to always make you feel like you're walking with one heel and hopping like that bunny. But sometimes it's putting the other foot on the ground, getting grounded and readjusting something in your everyday schedule that really makes something flow all around in your life more and more. I'm going to look at this card. It's actually pretty cute. I also like that this 9 of Cups looks like a, whoo, hold on, I'm kicking you with my foot. The 9 of Cups looks like kind of an androgynous mermaid. And there's all these bubbly energies from all these different shaped cups. And then you got this jackrabbit here. Maybe somebody's named Jack. And then there's a fish jumping out of the water next to these 2 mermaids. I feel like there's something about like the right catch. I'm also getting a little bit of that teaching somebody to fish being more valuable in the reality of living than just giving somebody a fish. Here you go. Here's your wish. Here's your fish. What if, you know, the rabbit didn't show up one day? Roses knocking my lights. It's one of those readings, guys. Then it's much more valuable for someone to know how to do something themselves. Here, it's just imbalance. You know, teeter-tottering different things, trying to juggle a bowling ball, an orange, and a golf ball, but you're not having your timing right. You're not giving enough strength to the bowling ball, so something's always falling on the ground. Rose just keeps knocking the light. Hold on. We're going to keep on going. So if somebody was imbalanced, maybe this silence came through to help balance somebody out. Maybe silence came through to balance you out. Maybe you needed to adjust some things in your everyday schedule. It could also be that if there were energies that were super bright and energies that felt heavy, like a storm cloud bowling ball of jelly, then maybe that's one of the energies that started to feel too heavy and needs to be just let go of. So what somebody chooses to pick up feels like balls of sunshine, possibilities, something that's more like a seed that you can take, put in the earth, ground it, and see growth. If something was just overwhelmed with weeds or planted in the wrong soil, the wrong foundation, the wrong partnership, the wrong person, the wrong mindset, then that growth is just going to kind of be stagnant or not really feel fulfilling. I'm actually getting kind of overwhelming, or I don't know why I see like a fake flower coming out of the ground. Kind of false. What's at the bottom? You got a little message coming through. You got a little spark of fire in your hand. You know, energy in your soul has been lit. Sometimes this is a sassy message. Sometimes this is a conversation that you have where you get that like, oh, yeah, I want to try that. Can we do that like tomorrow? Is that band coming into town soon? What do I need to do to get those supplies to start that project? Or it could even be a romantic, passionate kind of energy, but it starts kind of like fresh, innocent, non-experienced. Not that somebody is non-experienced in the passion department, but maybe there haven't been enough experiences with you to really, you know, peel back the layers and see how bright it can get. This is usually just a beginning. It's a page. So sometimes it's a message, or sometimes it's somebody a little inexperienced on how to hold that ball of passion or that ball of spirit. You know, that flame of psychic intuition that is inside of their heart and inside of their soul. They're still figuring out all that synchronicity stuff. The Page of Wands, but there's so much potential. What the Page of Wands has to remember to do is not let that fire fizzle out. Sometimes the Page of Wands is the one that gets really excited about something and then they get sidetracked. Like my dog when she sees a squirrel, like squirrel. It's like, and then never goes back to that thing that was begun or beginning, you know, or had potential to keep growing. It's like they had that spiritual fire lit and just kind of walked away. Like, where'd they go? Why didn't you go back to that thing you put on the back burner? So sometimes it is somebody having follow through. And once there's more follow through with the experiences that bring you to the night, learning how to keep that passionate fire bright and lit and keep coming back for more, to the stability of the king and the queen, to hopefully the spiritual insight and divine capability of the emperor and the empress. This is definitely somebody who's a little trendsetter, you know. They're a little spicy. They got their own unique thing going on. This is also somebody that has a lot of confidence, even in something that is new. So this could be a really confident message that is sent, you know, with a little sassy vibration to it, whether that's you or someone else. You know, there's no program or video or something you're going to ever watch that's the correct technique to connect to a certain person, because every single person is an individual and unique. How you are with one person may be completely different than how you are with another person. So trust your deep insight and guidance. You know, if you're watching all these things that are saying you need to be, you know, you need to avoid all contact and they'll love you more, but then you get an urge that, you know, maybe somebody you're connected to might be going through something, and you feel like maybe, hey, you okay? Just thought of you, is right for you, then you follow that. If then you get a weird response and that makes you feel a little off, then you can change your path or maneuver your, you know, your progress differently. Because I feel like there is something about something you are seeing and getting advice, but that's not exactly what might be relevant or beneficial for your own personal situation. You have to trust how you feel and each response and interaction as you go. And then adjust your, you know, adjust yourself accordingly. Every day is different. Because I feel like there is something really beautiful. I actually feel like if some of you are not talking to someone that kind of like, you know, wiggled away, I don't think it's because you're trying to prove a point. You know, they'll miss me when I'm gone. I don't think it's that. I think it's actually out of respect. And that's really beautiful. Maybe that's also what somebody is figuring out. It's not that you are necessarily avoiding them. You're just giving them the space they either energetically or physically ask for. So let's end the reading with the siren. Where's your beautiful siren? I feel like I need to make her swim for you. So the siren is, the siren calls, oh, first it's the temptress, the seducer, and the femme fatale. The siren calls and the world spins. What we thought we wanted pales in comparison to the sweet allure of her song. That's this. What you thought you wanted, what you thought was your wish come true, pales in comparison to the actual true experience you get to be in. And then again and again. It's like a constant development. So there's someone that thought they couldn't have it all, or thought they couldn't have something so good, or didn't even know that that so good thing even existed, maybe until they met you. And maybe it's coming back to you, and maybe you just inspired them that somebody can have better, especially if somebody was settling for less than or not believing in what they deserve. Where was I? We find ourselves lost in a spell of desire and longing, perhaps even lust. Whether the thing to us is ultimately good or bad, it's somewhat irrelevant. It's the journey that matters. And the work of the siren is to take us on a deep psychic descent. Following her song, we go down, down, down to a place where lessons are learned and courage must be rallied up to find our way back to the dry land. And try as we might, resisting that call may not even be an option unless our Odysseus, we bind our hands to the mast of our ship. That's somebody completely resisting that call or that urge of the soul. If you have a call or an urge that feels like a soul calling, not a superficial lusty energy where it's so deeper, it just keeps bringing you back in, but you are tying yourself to that mast of your ship, you are preventing your own growth. You are blocking your own blessings. You are not going in the direction of your true dreams. Even if that direction, moves you in a different form or to a different place or down a different road or with a different person or doing a different thing as you move through that journey. To not take the journey is not really gifting yourself the blessing of growth, which is what we're here to do. So, where was I? It's likely, though, that falling for her call is the only way we will come to live more fully on the surface instead of just skimming the surface, instead of just getting by, instead of just, taking what is offered, but it being less than you deserve, instead of, busting out that box, throwing it up to the universe of possibilities, or containing something that has to be a certain way, or that's what society said, or that's what you always believe when you're 5, or what you were taught when you were 25. So it's living more fully on the surface. It's recognizing now you've been exposed to that deep soul calling, the energy of thriving, more possibilities than what you tangibly see in the matrix that we're in. It's tapping into all of those energies, and something just becomes so multi-dimensional now, you can't go back. Awakened this is one light, awakened sensuality, that's a hard word to say, absorption, arousal. And when dark, it's wickedness, adultery, wreckage, betrayal, insatiability. It's a different thing. It's that lower vibration of lust, just to have, but without that beautiful reflection back, just to take and then to leave. J.W. Waterhouse's nymph paintings, oh, they are beautiful. And Lana Del Rey's album, not Ultraviolet, but Ultraviolence. I didn't know she had an album called that. Other iterations of the siren archetype include the nymph, the mermaid, and the fairy. They often come in sets of 3 as a trinity of temptation. I just thought of A Midsummer Night's Dream. Embodying the siren archetype requires that we explore things that are taboo. The siren laughs at conventions and constraints. She eats rules. Oh, I love it. She's like, rules? We're going to throw those out the window and make our own. So I hope this reading was helpful today and you found something insightful. I love you so much, and I look forward to seeing you very soon.